Well, hello, it's Wednesday, so it must be time for Woolly Hats Wednesday WIPS. And I don't have much to show you today, because you've seen most of it before, but I thought I'd tell you something, some other WIPs I've been doing, which is washing my knitwear, because allegedly this time of year is nice and warm, and it's a good time to wash your hand knits before the winter comes. So I thought I'd just give you a few tips on washing things so that you retain the wonderful shape and softness and niceness of a hand knit garment or sock. Anyway, so the first thing is make sure you know what you're washing, because if it's acrylic or wool or cotton, then there are different things. So cottons you can get away with a higher temperature. Acrylic you don't want it too hot, or otherwise you melt it, and certainly if it's real wool then you don't want it too hot, or otherwise you will felt it, unless you want to do that on purpose. I have felted things by accident, but not on purpose. Anyway, so generally if it's wool you want a cooler temperature. If it's cotton you can go for a bit hotter. So if you do save the band on your knitting wool, then that will tell you what temperature you can use. Now there are lots of wools nowadays that you can just put in the washing machine, especially some of the baby wear, because they're easy to wash and they're designed to be like that. But generally if it's got a lot of wool in, I tend to do it by hand because I think it's better, but it's really up to you, and it depends on the wool and what it says on the band. So what I like to do is soak the garment in a light detergent, no bio powders and things like that, just a light washing powder or washing liquid, not too strong, and just let it soak in there for a while, and then it gets into all the wool and things like that, so that it's nice and soaked in. If there's a particular spot that's dirty, so for example if you've spilt your spaghetti down your front and it's a bit orange, you might want to work on that beforehand with a little bit of light detergent and some water, but don't do it too much, because otherwise you might rub it or felt it, and that wouldn't be good. You'd see that spot forever. So once I've done that, I take it out of the water and let it drain. Don't, whatever you do, wring your nice woolens, your hand knits, because it will misshape it and it won't do it any good. But do let it drain. So I tend to rinse it several times to get all this stuff out. So of course if you use a lot of detergent it will take a lot of rinsing, so I like to drain it. So you say, well Harriet, it's going to have a lot of water, it's going to take ages to dry. So what I do is I lie a blanket on a table and then put my knit on it and then roll it up and then squeeze it that way, and that gets rid of a lot of the wool. So the other thing is that if you have particularly wool garments and you hang them on the line, they will stretch and they won't fit the same as when you knitted them. So always dry your woolies on a flat surface, on a table, over I tend to do it over a towel, or if you've got a dryer, one of these electric dryers, you know, the rails things, you can put that on there. But dry it as flat as you can, and look at the shape. Try not to make sure it's misshapen. And if you have the original pattern, you could put it to the measurements that it says in the pattern. But who keeps their patterns in order that they can find them? I don't know. Anyway, it's a piece of advice there if you wish to take it. So and that way it will dry in a good shape and it will fit and continue to fit you well. So the other thing, so I showed you this last week, so this is the little device for blocking a sock. You can use these for your socks. I tend not to do that for socks, I just hang them up. After all, they're just going in your feet, but I'm just liking showing you this. There you go. So when it's dry you can take it down off the block or off your flat surface and put it back in your cupboard. And again, if you put it in your wardrobe and it hangs, it could misshape. It's better to fold them, especially the heavier knits, it's better to fold them and put them in a drawer, and make sure that the moths don't get in there as well. So if you're prone to moths, put some moth paper in or whatever. So there you go. There's a little job for you to do in this lovely summer weather over the weekend. If you haven't got anything else to do, get out your woolies and have a good wash of all your woolies before the winter. I wouldn't wash them too, just final note, I wouldn't wash them too often. Actually, wool is very good at soaking in odours and things and doesn't actually smell too much, especially merino. So don't go overboard with washing, but it is nice to freshen them up every now and again. And if you've only got a little bit of muck on, then I would just treat that spot with a bit of detergent and then dry it rather than do the whole thing, because it's quite a faff. Anyway, I'm going to go off and wash some more clothes, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.